What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup. Oh, it's hot. Good morning to Mark and Liz and Stacy and all the rest of you, whether you're watching live later or listening. Thanks for joining. Episode 700 last night went pretty well, I think. I think. Good morning, Tommy. I think most of you were there, which tells me that maybe the majority of you didn't get as much sleep as normal. Also, I didn't. When did I go to bed? Because I had to wind down. 11? I don't go to bed at 11. That's not a thing I do generally. So I'm a little sleep deprived this morning. But it was more than worth it. It was so much fun. I want to make sure that I shout out Andrew for the great job that he did lining up guests and just putting together a show. You know, when we talked about, I think it was about a month or two ago, we started talking about what to do. You know, we wanted to do something, but we knew that 700. It's a funny number, right? Like it's not 1,000, it's not 500, it's not 100. We knew we wanted to do something, but what could we do that was appropriate and wasn't going to kill our time commitments, because we both have a lot of other stuff that we're doing. And StreamYard, the software that we use here for First Cup, really was the secret. I said, I think the things that Gabe and I used to do with whistlekick Live are so much easier with this. And we just kind of fell into what we did. So he did all the prep work. He killed it. I didn't know about anybody coming on. I mean, I knew people were coming. I didn't know who. There were people he tried to bring on that couldn't come on, that would have just been mind-blowing, some big name past guests. And the fact that he would exert that energy to try and bring those folks on was just amazing to me. So, wow, other people. Good morning also to, let's see, Stacy and Jenny and Nathan. And Jenny says, definitely not enough sleep. LOL. I got a burst of energy and I was up until almost midnight. Then I was up at 3:30. I am too old to hang like that. Stacy says, yawn. Yep, 700 Club hangover. Tommy says, episode 700 was great. I got emotional by the time Jenny showed up. Kind of cool, really. Yeah, it was. You all were my people. And to celebrate something like that with my people and bringing them on, it meant a lot. I've been so open and about this and just hyper aware that we have turned the corner, that there is a momentum to whistlekick that I've been looking for so long. And that momentum is beyond myself. It's not just me. We have a lot of great things going on. It seems like we're at a point where people get it, where I reach out to people and I say, hey, I'm doing this thing. For example, I had a phone call related to Free Training Day, the one up here, and just talking to a vendor. I said, the hotel. I talked to the people at the hotel, and what kind of event are you having? And I explained it pretty basically, and she's like, oh, that sounds great. Like, even though she didn't do martial arts, she got it. She understood what we're doing and why we're doing it, and why, right? Like, the why is so important. We talk on this show about the why constantly, and our why is visible now, and that should mean, knock on wood, that we start to attract more and more people into what we're doing. So that excites me. Jenny says, it was so great to interact with everyone that way. This is family, no doubt. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Oh, second day of coffee, but it's still decaf. I thought about having regular coffee because I'm kind of sleepy. It's a recording day today. We had 4 lined up, 1 rescheduled as of last week. So I've got 3. One of them's a big name, like a really big name. Go, Andrew. Um, ooh. So the thing that I ordered arrived yesterday. I told you there's a thing I did for myself, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to do the reveal. I might do the reveal tomorrow morning. We will see. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about how to do it. Maybe I'll do it Thursday because I don't know. You'll understand when I show you. You will understand. Anything else going on? Well, what else happened yesterday? Um, did a bunch of work. Did some more work. Sent a bunch of emails. You know, one of the fun transitions is that we've rounded out the team enough that a lot of my work is moving emails from one person to another. But now I'm doing less of the end result work. I'm checking things. I'm moving more into a proper management role as this organization grows. Whoa, crazy! And it couldn't have come sooner. It couldn't. It happened when it needed to, and I'm so glad that it did. And I'm glad it's not happening later because I'm fried. But every time I see something happen, something good happen that I didn't need to be part of, I just I almost lose it. This company sat on my shoulders for 10 years. And to start to take things off my plate is one of the most freeing feelings. So thank you. A bunch of you are involved in stuff. Others, if you're not involved in stuff and you want to be involved in stuff, let me know. There are so many roles. There are so many things that you could do. I will find you a job. Don't worry. Oh. Jenny and Stacy are discussing the fact that we have two Jennies. Way back when I had my IT company, there was there was a period of time we had two Ians, two, I don't remember what one of the other names was, two Matts, I think. And I think there might have even been a third pair of names. It was only like a 10-person company. And then we had another Jeremy apply. And I sat down, I looked at the resume, and I just said, please don't be qualified. Please don't. Because if he was qualified, I would have hired him. But I just didn't want a second Jeremy. Because people would call up and they would say, is Jeremy there? And the team did get better about not just giving me the phone. But then it would have been which one? And they would have gotten confused. Because not everybody knew my name. He wasn't qualified, though. Fortunately, I didn't interview him. That would have been nuts. Today's kind of a fun day, even beyond the recordings, even beyond the big name recording. If you want to know who it is ahead of time, you could join Patreon. I gotta do that. I got sap boiling again. I'm gonna have to collect more sap because there's always more sap to collect. One of my clients lives overseas and is back visiting, and her team here and I, because she considers me part of her team, because after 20 years, I guess I kind of am. We're all going to dinner. So that'll be nice. This will be the first kind of not simple meal I've had. You know, I'm still on this kind of cleanse sort of a deal. And I haven't had dairy in weeks. I haven't had vegetable oils, right? Like a lot of these things that, you know, if you're in the 12 months to health group, you know, that we talk about that. If you're reading 12 months to health, it's in the book. So it'll be interesting to see how my body responds. My prediction, not favorably. Tommy says, try being a Tommy. At least my nickname is unique. For those of you that don't know, his nickname is Kato. Oh, I just spilled coffee. That's sad. I think it's time. Let's switch in. Now, shout out to Josh Blum. He left us something to talk about in the Facebook group. And Frank, of course, gave us something. So we'll start with Frank. Here we go with Frank. April's National Poetry Month, so here's another poem by Bruce Lee. The hummingbird rays spring from the east like purple arrows. The hummingbird begins his flight. Happily, he flies through the purple sky looking for the lovely pink rose. On the mountain peak, away from the human world, he finds the pink rose waiting. Upon the mountain peak, he hovers in silence above the rose and waits as dawn from purple grows to gold. The sun moves on to afternoon, the time to part unwillingly. The hummingbird rises above, hovers, circles the rose 3 times, then flies to his nest, far, far to the east. Through my window, I have watched the crimson close of day, followed by the silver calmness of the night. In my lonely room, no sound stirs. Who knows that all evening in bed I am not sick and not even asleep? A second is an hour becomes a night as I lie staring, waiting for the sun to rise. Oh, that I could be a hummingbird and fly so swiftly to your side. In dream, the most wonderful thing happens, for I am no more a hummingbird, and she no more a pink rose. There is no more noon or night, but always morning. How I wish that one day the dream, too, is no more a dream. Wow. The imagery there is pretty strong, but once again, I find myself drawn to the words and the sound of the words, the flow of the words. A lot of people think poetry is just random words put together, and especially if you're not talking about poetry with a meter, with some kind of cadence to it, that it doesn't matter and you can just smush words together. And you can certainly do that. But it's probably not a poem anyone's going to want to read twice. It's not a poem anyone's going to ever memorize and recite at some coffee shop. It's the imagery and it's the cadence. Back in high school, I really enjoyed writing poetry, and it's when I realized that I had a bit of a gift for writing. What year was it? Was it our freshman year, sophomore year? I think it was freshman year. We had a pretty non-traditional English teacher. He pushed us. He was, I mean, despite being 13, 14 years old, he was real challenging us, and I rose to that challenge most of the time. And we had some assignment where we had to write 10 poems and hand them in, and they were on violence. And at the end of the whatever time period we had to do that, we all read our favorite one aloud to the class, and everybody had to pick 5 that they thought were really good, and the idea was that they were being scored, and if I recall correctly, I quote unquote won. And I don't remember the words of the poem. Actually, I remember the final words, but I remember the imagery. And it's in a notebook somewhere. I've actually bumped into it a couple times. And when people ask me, are you artistic? I don't draw well. I've never tried painting, but sculpture, but I can write. And I enjoy writing when I don't have 40,000 things stacked on my shoulders. But if you enjoy writing and you've never tried writing poetry, I would encourage you to try it. My process is I work backwards from the imagery. What am I trying to describe to people, and what words not only don't distract from that imagery, but foster it. They support that imagery, because as you heard in that poem, quite a few words in there, just the way they fit together is very interesting. Maybe you don't care about poetry. That's okay. Stacy says, you enjoy flow? I'm shocked. That permeates your interviews, martial arts, and more. Yeah, I'm glad it comes through. Tommy says, poetry reading is awesome. I used to go to coffee houses as a young man to listen. Nice. What would it look like? This is off the top. What if there was like a martial arts coffee house, and instead of reciting poetry or something, what if people were demonstrating martial arts, and not in the way that we do competition, not, big and formal, but somebody gets up there and they do a few moves and they show, here's what I'm working through. Here's what I like. I like how this move goes to this move, and here's why. And they describe it almost kind of more like a TED talk than a competition demonstration. Some people would really like that. I don't think there are enough of them. Someday, when Whistlekick is really big and we have our own facility, and I mean facility, which includes I can see this, like it's already in my mind, and it has a number of teaching rooms and a retail store and offices and probably a restaurant and a coffee shop. Um, Maybe people will do that then. Maybe we'll have martial arts events. My hope is that one day Whistlekick HQ becomes a destination for martial artists. They say, I want to go visit Vermont because I want to go check out Whistlekick headquarters. I want to go take a class there. I want to eat at the restaurant. I mean, the restaurant would be pretty easy, right? Like it's normal food, but it's just covered in martial arts memorabilia. And Stacy said, adds on there, just free-form demonstrations, sharing writing about martial arts, and movie night. Ooh, I like that idea too. Starting with the company touch point. B-O-B. What's B-O-B? Oh, no, never. There will be a sign that says, anyone who talks about best of the best will be escorted from the premises. Nice try. Ooh, I like that. Brian says healthy, wholesome food with a dish from every country and art originates from. So yeah, be a lot of Asian, Southeast Asian food. Tom, Dobby's in the chat. This. I'm not even going to put the original comments up. But he says autocorrect hates me. It does. Autocorrect hates us all. So what am I going to do until when's that? 11? Yeah, yeah. I've got until 11. I'll take care of the plants. I'll go grab the sap that I can that hopefully is not too diluted out with rainwater. I gotta adjust my cover on one of them. It's letting a little bit of rain in. Grab more sap, continue boiling sap, get a little bit more work done. There's always more work. And just kind of enjoy a quiet morning leading into 3 interviews. I like 3, but we need to do 4, because we're trying to do every 3 weeks because it gives me back more time. I remember when we switched from every Tuesday to every other Tuesday and how wonderful that was. It gives me more time and to every 3 weeks. And if we can get to a point where it's solidly every 3 weeks, we may adjust timing, and we might open up 5 slots and do it every 4 weeks. But we shall see. It's constant growth, right? Iterative progress. I know you are, Stacy. Stacy says, in reference to Best of the Best, trust me, I say that with all love and disrespect. I'm hashtag Team Jeremy on that movie. And Tommy says, I think we've all said this. It's never duck. Autocorrect. It's never duck. All right. So this thing that Josh gave us, over here. I'm going to read this to you. I really think it's a wonderful topic, and I'm curious what you all think. Oh, we're on the wrong. Where is it? Oh, I didn't hit refresh on this page. Hold on. Where did it go? Loading, loading, loading. Loading, loading, loading. I gotta reboot this thing. Come on. Definitely did not do episode 700 on this computer. Loading, loading, loading. Here we go. Okay. Is it gone? I can't find it. All right. Maybe if I look in notifications. I don't know why it's not here. Come on. Come on. Raw first cup. Here we go. Oh, is it on here? I'll read it from here. Oy vey. Come on. Here we go. All right. So he commented this. That's why, because it was never mind. Congrats on 700 shows. That's bonkers. He says, in the event you need a topic to discuss, do any of you have a pre-bed routine that involves any martial arts bits? For years, I toyed with this and that, but what I found to stick most is something really small. A few stretches and sitting in Seiza for a minute or two. I find I really look forward to that time, however short. I don't. I don't have any aspects to my bedtime routine that are martial arts related. But I like those. The idea of stretching before bed, there is some, if it's really gentle, there's some science that backs that up for sure, as part of a nighttime routine. And I'm not saying that anybody shouldn't. You absolutely should. I keep my nighttime routine very simple because most of my other routines are not. My morning routine is not. You all are part of it. Uh, Most of my other routines and the things I do throughout the day kind of complex. So when it comes nighttime, I put on my blue blocking glasses. I turn on the red lights that I have around the house instead of the overhead white lights. I try not to look at screens, and sometimes I read out of a paper book. That's it. When I had the cat, there was more to the nighttime routine, making sure she had what she needed. But the cat, I can't believe she's been gone that long. So, how about any of you? Do you do any martial arts stuff at night? Um, Brian and Tommy are debating the likelihood that we could get a coffee shop off the ground. The hard part about a coffee shop is you could get 100 people going through there and you might make $200. It's not enough. A business needs to make more than $200 a day. Coffee shop, a typical coffee shop with staff and everything, you're probably looking at if it was a small place, you might be able to get away with $1,000 in sales a day. It takes a lot of cups of coffee to do that. And that's why, oh, buy a muffin. Okay, well, now we're down to only needing 400 or 500 customers a day. That's a lot. It's tough to do that. That's why, if you look carefully, you see a lot of coffee shops pop up and go away because the atmosphere is fun, but the average person isn't dropping $50 or $100 when they come in like at a restaurant. Coffee shop's probably one of the hardest restaurant concepts, which is why so many people buy Dunkin' franchises because it's a known quantity and people will go. Tommy says his nighttime routine: let the dogs out, hit the bag or wallboard until they come in, hit the bed. or futon. Brian says, you do realize how many whistlekick cups we need, right? We know a guy. I love it. Jenny says, not martial arts exactly, but once in a while I use yoga to wind down. I'm also a bedtime reader. Oh, and I set the do not disturb on my phone at least an hour before I want to go to bed. That's a good one. Hmm. If you guys want to open a coffee shop, that's cool. I'm not getting in on it. This is not the area. I've been on the inside of coffee shops. I don't mean like I've been to coffee shops, but I've been involved in coffee shops. I know how tough that business is. It really is. Yep. Yep. All right. I hope you've had it. You have a great day. I hope all of your dreams come true. Those of you who made it to episode 700 last night and were here this morning, thank you. Thank you. Obviously our numbers are down because people were like, man, I just spent 90 minutes with Jeremy. I'm not watching that fool again. It's okay. It's okay. I'll see. We'll see them tomorrow, I think. But have a good day. I hope whatever you're doing is good stuff. And if that poem that I read meant anything, if it hit your ear in an interesting way, I would encourage you to check out other poetry, whether it's Bruce Lee's poetry or somebody else's poetry, and listen for the sounds that words make, not just the meaning. You could do that in day-to-day life. So there you go. Have a good one. I will see you back here tomorrow because we do it every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. If you got questions or comments, I'll post something over on Facebook in the Facebook group, facebook.com/firstcupwithjeremy, that you can respond to, and we'll incorporate it into tomorrow's show. And if you want to support us, if you want to get something like this mug or anything else, whistlekick.com, use the code firstcup15. You can also join the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick, to know about things like who the big guest is that I'm interviewing today. And if you want the entire list of all the ways you can help out, from the free to the ones that get you stuff to the ones that just, well, no, it's really the two, free and not free. Whistlekick.com/family. If you're family, you should be going there once in a while because I'm giving you behind the scenes stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. That's the whole point. Okay. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for coming by. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Peace.